All right, this is Keith from Love Living Local 315. I'm here with Utica University men's football coach, Coach Blaise Faggiano. Coach, how we doing, sir?
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent.
So I'm here with Coach. We wanted to chop it up on our Coach's Corner segment. Talk a little bit about your history, your tenure here. I feel like you've been here forever.
Forever.
Forever. What, 2008 was first year?
Yeah, I was hired in the winter of '07, and then '08 was my first fall, which is crazy. So I'm going into my 19th season
19
here.
So I'm thinking,
19.
so when you came in that first year in '08, I mean, I'm sure you had like a vision for what the program would be now in 2026. How much of that has changed from then till now?
I mean, I certainly had a vision. It's funny. I knew that I would like the school, and I had a lot of friends in the area whose sons played for me when I was at Fisher or Ithaca, my two
Okay.
previous places, and so no one had to sell me on chicken riggies or tomato pie. Like I had plenty,
The food,
and so
absolutely.
when the job came open, I can remember my wife, she's like, "Oh, we're going to be moving to Utica." Like she just had a feeling that this would be my opportunity to be a head coach, and
For sure.
but I really, right out the gate, really felt that that we could be one of the top private schools in the Northeast at some point, and really right away we were pretty competitive right away. I mean, I still look back like we had never beat Fisher before, and the first time we play him here, we play him at a tight 17-10 ball game that first year.
That's crazy. You
I mean,
remember that vividly.
So they go, yeah, and they scored on defense. Right, they scored a touchdown on defense. So, so right out the gate, there was definitely good players here.
Yeah.
And like anything else, just and a lot of respect for Coach Kemp. Like, just a side story: when the year we went 10-2 and we're nationally ranked, like Coach Kemp bought one of those rings. Like, so him and I still stay connected, and obviously he brought the program to a certain point, and I was really blessed to then take it from there.
Absolutely.
And to think about where we're at now is. It really has gone fast. You don't really think about it when you're having fun. We just had a great event to reflect. So Friday night, we had our first ever alumni panel. So we had 15 of our alumni come back to talk to the team about their career and their time here. First time we've done that. We had a guy fly in from North Carolina, Chicago, from all over, and to watch all those guys and think about how long I've been here.
No, I know.
Is Eric Call is again just recently in our Hall of Fame, and he's working at the Win as a physical therapist, and to hear him talk about his time here, along with guys like Andrew Banquet, another Hall of Famer, and all the rest of the group they were tremendous. And
I'm glad you brought that up because that's big to you, your mentorship and your coaching tree. Because there's probably a lot of players that are probably coaching other programs now that have started with you.
The number is staggering. So there's 75 coaches out there coaching college football or high school football that either played or coached here.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy. Like the one real big name, like Coach Fitzpatrick at Colgate.
Wow.
He came with me, hired him from Fisher, and was our offensive coordinator at 25.
That's crazy.
Right, and to watch him have success at Morrisville, Cortland, winning the national championship, and then now at Colgate.
Absolutely.
But it's crazy how many guys are out there. I remember, having the GAs here, and I liked having the GAs, and it made me reflect on my time at Albany. I'm like, oh wow, we had 3, and then we got to 4, and I'm like, well, we could have a little coaching tree someday. Yeah. And it kind of was like we laugh about it. We had a little coaching bush. Wasn't really a tree. And then you wake up someday and guys are all over coaching.
So
Nick Woodman's coaching at Villanova. Proctor grad. And, guys at Fordham and all over. So yeah, that's just a sign that I'm getting a little older, Keith.
No. I mean that just shows how much you pour into your people. And that means something. I mean, you should be very proud of that. That former players and coaches that have coached under you have now gone on to do better things and bigger things.
That's crazy.
That is incredible. I want to talk a little bit about your ties to Utica and how Utica's kind of embraced you. And you've kind of embraced Utica in the way, like, you see your players in the community. You see them doing community service. You're a part of so much. Was that always your intention, or you just kind of fall into that?
I tell you, personally, both in high school and college, I really didn't do a lot of community service.
Okay.
And right away, like Jim Spartano, the athletic director, and like talked about how proud he was of what they did, and particularly the hockey programs and basketball programs and what they did in the community. And that was really part of who we were as a college at the time. And so, my very first experiences, I was on the Heart Run Walk committee for the college.
That's huge.
And just, huge event. And just watching how this community comes out time and time again for different events. And so, when people ask me what I'm most proud of, when you look at our home games and you see that tent in the end zone, and that every one of our home games gives back to the community, that's something that I'm very proud of.
That's
Whether it
huge.
be our, now it started out as the New York State Tool Believe Bowl,
Yeah.
and then the Wilsey's tremendous success and ended up selling the company, and then the Master Vito's took over the game, but our Believe 271 Bowl game, helping out.
I've seen a lot about that.
Yeah, volunteer firefighters fighting cancer. Our Veterans Day game that GPO sponsors, GPO Federal Credit Union. First Source sponsors a game for, our teacher appreciation game. Of course, I'm going to, not leave someone out, but the fact that every one of our home games gives back to the community is something that we're really proud of.
It's huge. It's huge.
It's fall break around here, and the stands are so packed. You know what I mean? So like the guys understand why that is, because they are, good representation of the school and the program on campus and off in the community. So
absolutely, and I see that too. I mean, a lot of your student athletes, the way they carry themselves, it's bigger than football. It's bigger than the sport. You're kind of grooming men, young men into be grown men, and I think that's important. I was thinking about Utica U and how much has changed as far as just in the city of Utica in general, and you've seen it. Can you share a little bit of your perspective?
It's changed. It's for a while there. It seemed like every other year we're building a new building. You know what I mean? Like the timing I had, I come in and we had just built the criminal justice building, which is now the Bull Hall. And to have one of the best criminal justice programs in the Northeast. During my time, we added the construction management building, which is Jeremy Thurston donated money for that, who's chair of our board. We built the Casamento track and field complex. They built the Pioneer Village, the Dome.
The Dome.
We used to joke and say, man, if we ever had phys ed in an indoor facility, that would really help us.
Absolutely.
And we've been crushing the physical education programs, one of the biggest programs on campus. All of my guys, our alums, are all coaching, teaching phys ed out across New York State. And obviously the Dome is amazing. So that's kind of our shining, athletic facility for sure. So all those things that, kind of helped us compete as the conference has been like moving and changing.
Yeah.
When I first got hired, it was all private schools.
Yeah.
And Ithaca left, Springfield left, Norwich left. So then we picked up Salisbury and Frostburg, which were no joke, really good. I mean, I think Salisbury won the league 8 straight years, right? Then they leave, and then we brought in Cortland and Brockport, and we had Buff State for like a kind of just a second, and they're in the Liberty League. We just picked up Alfred State. So it's been changing. You know what I mean? It's been changing, but I think one of the things that's unique about the Empire right now in all of our sports is that we're both private schools and state schools are in there.
Nice.
Brockport's now Empire 8 in all sports, not just football.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Geneseo is Empire 8 in all sports, not just...
Gotcha.
So I've been around for all that change, and we continue to grow and be a important part of the community.
Absolutely. What's it mean to you to recruit the local kids that are from the greater Utica area, the outskirts schools, to come play for you and represent Utica U?
I mean, from day one, that was a goal of mine, is to do my very, very best to keep as many of the best local talent here. And right out the rip, you saw that, from, two of our best receivers early on were, Jeremy Meyer from RFA, and Anthony Acevedo from New Hartford, and then, you got to talk about the Palmers, right? Nate Palmer was an All-American. His younger brother Bryce broke the Empire 8 record for catches last year with 91. I think this fall might be the first year in 9 years I didn't have a Palmer starting for me, So their mom Amanda played here, was an athlete here at Utica, so they've been great. Nephews of Gary Oliver, former head coach of EVS, our linebacker coach. So, I love having the local guys when we can. I mean, this past year, Logan Frederick is probably as good a story as there is in college football. He he graduates from Little Falls, plays basketball at Herkimer, gets his associate's degree, wants to be a physical therapist, pretty much played JV for 2 years, a little bit of varsity his second year, and comes to my office. Hey, I'm putting 20 pounds on. We got this new quarterback. I want to play tight end.
That's great.
Now, he hadn't played.
Yeah.
Not many guys go from not really playing to like first team All-American and 3 different All-Americans.
That's incredible.
Right? And he's the Torchbearer Award for the Empire 8, which is the highest GPA of all the football players in the Empire 8. That's a big deal. Great, local story for sure. And one of our upcoming leaders, Nick DeForest, out of Holland Patton. So I definitely love having the local families, and they do a great job of bringing in the Long Island families and the Rochester families and the Albany families that we have. But
no, it's incredible. Yeah. I love that you do that. I mean, that for me, I really took notice with the different programs and stuff you implemented over the summer. Like you bring in the different high schools and they do the 7-on-7. How did that come about? Is that something that
Yeah, I mean,
an
I have
idea
to
you
go
had?
back and think. Like right out the gate, we had a youth football camp, and these were things that Coach Kemp had, the team camp.
Okay.
So we kind of continued the 11-man thud camp. That's a helmet and shoulder pad camp where high schools bring their teams. And then that we added the passing tournament. I don't think we always had that in the past.
Okay.
And that's been big for us. And then this summer we're adding an 8-man football camp with all the 8-man football, which is exciting.
That's growing.
And we've, this past year alone, we have Rocco Femia coming from Sequoia, did a great job playing 8-man as a receiver. And we have Gavin Baker from Morrisville, who I think he was player of the year, linebacker from Morrisville. And all those 8-man guys kind of seem to know each other.
That's
and
crazy.
They both knew Martino from playing against him and Lionel. So, we like to have in the camps, and you just want to make an impact on football in the area. And the camp isn't just to come and scrimmage; it's to come and get coached, by our coaches and our players. I think that's one of the things that's unique is our players come and work the camps.
I love that.
And they'll go to other camps, and there won't be any players around.
Yeah.
So our guys, all they need is an excuse to come back to Utica to work a camp or to hang around. And
they're all engaged too.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was watching the camp over the summer, every player's involved in the drill. You got your wide receivers working with the young wide receivers, the young quarterback working with the young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And it was just nice to see. Because you don't see that here. I mean, I thought that was just something you implemented here over the summer for the local high schools to kind of take part.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of something that happens.
Yeah.
And not necessarily planned. It's kind of how we do things, and we're very inclusive. So like we tell our guys, hey, here's all our summer camps. Many of them want to get into coaching, and if they can, they come up and work them. Many of our guys are staying up here this summer to lift in the dome and to work in the community, which is great too. And but yeah, the summer camps have been really, really good for us. And I'm old because I have guys that I've coached at Utica on my team that were youth campers. So that messes with me.
That's
like
crazy.
Martino and Lionel were youth campers.
That's crazy.
Okay, at 7 years old, and now they're here at the college. So that kind of messes with me a little bit.
Can we call you an honorary Utican now?
I would
feel like
take
you've
that.
been here long enough.
I would take that. I think I have a chip on my shoulder.
I think you've made enough of an impact on not only just Utica, but the student athletes here. And we really appreciate everything you've done, Coach. Just from the outside looking in. And I really wanted to, I thought you deserved some recognition, a spotlight. And this is something that I'm glad that we can make happen, this conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And
this is important.
Make sure you follow us online and social media and start marking the schedule for next year. And our guys report August 11th. And then, gosh, I'm going to have the dates wrong, but I know our home openers versus Washington Jefferson.
Okay.
I bet you they'll be nationally ranked.
Gotcha.
And that'll be week 1. That will probably be our Believe Bowl. So our schedule is the same as last year. We had W&J at RPI, Hobart at home will be a big game.
Gotcha.
And then we're right into Empire 8 play. So
let me ask you one more question. When people think about Coach Blaise Faggiano, how do you want them to remember you, legacy-wise?
Oh, come on. That I truly didn't talk about family, that I was about family.
Absolutely.
Right. And that everyone that touches our program, from the players and the coaches and the folks on campus, and that that this is really a family.
I see that
atmosphere. And a real popular term they throw around in D1 is culture, like a program's culture.
No, you built a culture here.
But for me, it's like we really have a family here, and I do say often that family's not all hugs and kisses, right? Family's tough love, and I think that's something that developing young men is something that I take a lot of pride in. And it's something that we have undoubtedly done. And I say we, myself, I got a tremendous coaching staff, most of all which who graduated from Utica and played here.
Amazing.
And, we want to continue to do that.
What's the 4 pillars? Family, faith, football?
I hear you. It's faith, family, academics, football, in that order. And that's been the same since 2008. I'm proud I can say that.
Coach, good stuff.
Thanks,
Keep
man.
doing what you're doing.
Yes.
We're rooting for you. We appreciate you taking the time to make this happen.
Fear the Moose.
Absolutely.